Hello, welcome to day number 3, Personality Profile. The author starts with a quote, "Understand, respect, and accept differences in each other's personality before you marry. Before you meet, take a half an hour to individually complete questionnaire number 1, the personality profile. It's kind of fun. During the date should be a 3-hour date. Afterwards, at home alone, record in your journal at the end of the book reactions to the session. There's a link so you can copy down um, the questionnaire and also the journal at the end of it is a copy, so you can write in your journal. Do you have any concerns? Write them down. Are these warning signs to you about possible future problems? Reflect on these insights and continue the course. Instructions. On the date, first discuss your dominant personality types and any potential conflicts. Then fill out questionnaire number 2 separately. Answer the questions, discuss your answers together. Once again, try to make the date relevant to the subject to be discussed. Use your imagination. You might want to plan a date to the library again, or use a different coffee house, donut shop, or fast food restaurant. Bring a paper, pen, and your questionnaire. Here's the personality profile. Many of the answers will apply to you some of the time. Circle the one that describes you most of the time. I like to A. Direct others, B. Cooperate with others, C. Motivate others, or D. Follow others as long as the instructions are clear. 2. I prefer to compete in an event, cheer for others. B. C is create the event, or D. Keep track of the details of the event. 3 is I prefer to assign chores for others to do, which is A. B. Gladly do the chores when no one else will do them, just to keep the peace. C. Do chores on my own time schedule. Or D. Read instructions on how to do the chores properly and then do them. 4. My clothes closet. A is organized, but I'm too busy to think about it much. B is organized so I know what I'm wearing each day. C is messy and unorganized, I always look good. Or D is organized according to item, color, and texture. 5. I would rather help a friend by A. Solving his or her problem, B. Listening with understanding and patience, C. Entertaining him or her with jokes to cheer her or her up, or D. Giving him or her a precise and factual description of why she has a problem. He or she has a problem. 6. When I socialize, I prefer A. Controlling the topics of conversation, B. Listening to others and validating their opinions, C. Being the life of the party, or D. Staying in the background. 7. When someone hurts me, I tend to ignore it and move on, A. Or B. Feel deeply hurt, C. Laugh it off, D. Analyze why the person hurt me. 8. Friends see me as A. Strong-willed, B. Nurturing and loving, C. Inspirational, or D. Reserved. 9. I think of myself more as A. Confident, B. Patient tolerant, C. Laid back and easygoing, or D. A perfectionist. This is one of the only times that I selected D. I'm a perfectionist. 10. I like A. Adventure, B. Routine, C. Daring opportunities, or D. Predictable situations. 11. When it comes to planning for a group, I get upset if A. I'm not leading the conversation, B. There's a lot of conflict in the planning session, C. People don't allow for spontaneity or changes at the last minute, or D. Others want to change the plans after they've been made. 12. In living with another person, it bothers me if he or she is not willing to A. Take my suggestions, or B. Is insensitive to my needs and feelings, C. Doesn't have a sense of humor, or D. Is disorganized and leaves his or her things laying around. My personality is more 13. A. Let's do it now. B. Adaptable. C. Put it off until I feel the mood to do it. Or D. Organized. How is your personality? 14. When it comes to work, I see myself as mostly A. Productive, B. Giving and rational, C. Fun-loving, or D. Detailed. 15. With other people, I'm good at A. Leading, B. Listening, C. Motivating, or D. Discerning. I'm gonna be honest, I'm more of a motivator, C. In my spare time, 16, I tend to A. Work on my goals, B. Do volunteer work, C. Be around other people, or D. Read a nonfiction book. 17. When I have 15 minutes to think about myself, I A. Enjoy thinking about solving a challenge, B. Enjoy thinking about my friends and family, C. Dream about new ways to accomplish things, or D. Think about working harder to perfect myself. 3 more questions. 18. When others are in doubt about something, I like to A. Do something to get it done, stay with the things that I know, B. C. Take a risk and try something new, or D. Examine past procedures and outcomes. 19. When something changes in my life, I generally A. Adapt quickly and move on, B. Dislike it and have trouble adapting, C. I'm enthusiastic and encourage others to accept change, or D. Take time to learn the details in order to handle the change. 20. When there's conflict in my life, I generally A. Act with confidence knowing I can solve it, B. Avoid any confrontation, hope for a peaceful resolution, C. Am optimistic and look for a creative solution, or D. Investigate the source so I can take precise action. Instructions. Now that we've taken the personality profiling test, add up your A's, B's, C's, and D's. The ones that total the highest is generally your dominant personality type. However, you may have a high score in another area. This is normal. Many people are mixtures of several personality types. Read the descriptions that follow your fiancé or fiancée, especially in the personality types in which you scored the highest, and separate to answer the questions relating to the possible problems. My totals, I got 6 for A, 6 for B, 6 for C, and 2 for D, including that perfectionist one. That was one of my only D's. I have likened 4 personality types to cars. A is like the off-road vehicle. This personality likes to be a leader. An off-road vehicle, ORV, is the king of the road when it comes to motor vehicles operating on our highways today. It is ready to go into battle, lead a military maneuver, and stand up to any situation as leader of the pack. An ORV personality is always determined in his or her goals. He or she is confident, independent, a self-starter, motivated, filled with courage, and has the ability to rally others to his or her cause. This personality type will be your ardent defender and protector. On the downside, he or she can be controlling. At times, the controlling behavior may get in the way of compromise in a marriage. B. The minivan. This personality type likes to help and serve others. A minivan is a dependable car with capabilities of being versatile and flexible. A minivan personality type is loving, nurturing, and caring. He or she will drive many miles out of his or her way to give a ride to the friendless. He or she will take the chicken soup to a sick neighbor, take care of a friend's cat or dog, and field insults aimed at a friend and defend her or him out of loyalty. A minivan personality is tender-hearted and cries easily watching movies and reading books. He or she can be easily hurt because he or she tries so hard, loves so deeply, and gives so much. It is easy for others to take advantage of the giving nature of the minivan. There's nothing half-hearted about anything the minivan decides to do or say. Minivans make the most dependable, loyal, and stable partners. On the downside, a minivan does not like to change. He or she will resist change and may make his or her miserable when change occurs. So you gotta watch out for the change and be adaptable. C is the sports car. This personality type likes to be the life of the party. A sports car is the flashiest and the most daring car on the road. In real life, this personality is equally flashy. This personality includes many of the entertainers and salespeople of the world. A sports car personality loves attention, adventure, and new ways of doing things. He or she is often the one who comes up with creative ideas in a group and loves a good party. It is not unusual to see a sports car in the center of attention in most settings. This personality is fun-loving, friendly to a fault, enthusiastic, and everyone's best friend. The downside of the sports car personality is that he or her travels to his or her own timetable. He or she doesn't like to make commitments and work to a schedule. The sports car type might agree to do something when pressured and then let you down and forget what he or she promised. And D is a European precision car. This personality type likes to be thorough and detailed. The European precision car personality type is detailed-oriented. He or she is thorough, exacting, accurate, steady, precise, a rule follower to the letter, dependable, organized to a fault, 10 minutes early to every appointment, and good with money. The precision car will never just throw paint on a wall to get it done. He or she will spend weeks, if necessary, washing, stripping, and sanding the walls first. If you want any job done right, the precision car is the personality type to hire. Precision car personality types are perfectionists. The downside to this personality is that he or she does not like to make decisions in a hurry, do anything fast just to get it done, or be spontaneous and adventurous without carefully thinking and planning it through. And then there's a questionnaire number 2, questions on personality conflicts. After reviewing your dominant personality types, separate and answer the following questions. Some may not directly apply to you, but answer them anyway the best you can. After you both complete this questionnaire, get back together and discuss your answers. Do you frustrate your partner, 1, with your ambition and drive, or does he or she frustrate you? If the answer is yes, how will you resolve this? Do you or your partner always like to be the boss and tell the other what to do? Does this cause conflict? If so, what can you do to make your relationship better? 3. Do you or your partner have scheduling conflicts with each other? If so, list the obligations for your time that will affect your marriage. If you're together, talk about potential conflicts and how you can pare down your activities and commitments to have more time to talk for each other. 4. Does your partner ignore issues that matter to you? Does he or she tend to demean your ideas or consider your concerns unimportant? List example and discuss how you would like your partner to respond to you. Do you or your partner desire a large circle of friends while the other prefers just a few? If so, how will you compromise? List solutions. 6. Do you or your partner like to do things on the spur of the moment, but the other doesn't? How can you compromise to accommodate to each personality? Has your partner, 7, failed to follow through a request you've made? Has he or she forgotten to do something promised? Is this typical behavior? How can you resolve this problem? List solutions and then compare them with each other. 8. Are you or your partner habitually late? Have you resolved this so far? How will you resolve this in the future? List solutions. 9. Do you or your partner have problems as a result of being shy and retiring? Does one or you do most of the talking? If this is a problem, what can you do about it? List some possible solutions and make a plan for this issue. 10. If you like to be the life of the party, does your partner have trouble with this behavior or vice versa? Well, how will you deal with the differences or conflicts? 11. If you're a personality type who likes to go out with the boys and girls without your partner, do you want to continue this tradition in your marriage? Does your partner support you in this area? If not, how can you compromise? 12. Do you enjoy R-rated action or adventure movies? Are you dating a pacifist or a religious person who is against seeing these kinds of films? Will this be a problem in your marriage? And if so, how can you solve this difference? I'm for avoiding rated R action movies, especially those with, and this is 13. Do you object to sexual scenes in movies? I do. Are your partner's philosophies the same or different about this? List solutions and compromises you each agree to support. If your partner dresses like flashy sports car personality, do you ever wish he or she would dress differently? Is he or she willing to change his or her style for you? If not, can you accept him or her that way? Do you have the opposite problem? Does your partner dress too conservatively for your taste? Discuss solutions. 15. Is your partner loud and boisterous? Does he or she embarrass you in public with crude behavior or off-color jokes? Does this description apply to you? Does this behavior cause conflict in your relationship? List solutions. If you, 16, or your partner are neat and tidy around the house and the other is sloppy and messy, will this be a huge problem in marriage? List possible solutions and discuss them. I hope that one is not sloppy and messy. 17. If your partner prefers to stay at home and read a book while you want more of a social life or vice versa, how will you compromise? List possible solutions, like hanging out with friends and leaving your spouse to read the book at home. If you or your partner does like to be organized and have regular planning sessions and the other doesn't, how will you deal with this? Would that disrupt one's ability to function? List possible solutions. I like planning unless it's redundant. If it's the same every day, then you might not have to plan. You can just follow through. 19. If you or your partner demands extensive attention to detail, will this be a problem? List solutions for getting along and solving this issue. It's not a problem with me if they have extensive attention to detail. 20. Is there anything about your partner's personality that currently drives you crazy and you wish you could change? What is it? Have you told him or her? If not, why? Will this cause serious problems in the future? Discuss this with him or her. Is he or she willing to change? If not, what can be done to reach a mutually acceptable solution? 21. These are only a few personality conflicts that could arise in a relationship. Discuss any others that you've already experienced. Did you resolve them? How will you resolve others in the future? Concepts to consider. This usually has a story. Are you ignoring serious personality differences just to get married now, thinking that they will be resolved after marriage? If so, remember that any changes that occur should happen before marriage. After the marriage, partners often believe, I've got him or her now, I don't have to change. Can you accept your partner just the way he or she is? Can you love him or her in spite of what you might consider to be serious flaws? If you are having any trouble in this area, how can you resolve it now? Is your partner willing to work with you? If not, this could be a warning sign that the two of you might be incompatible. Seek professional counseling and/or consider ending the engagement. Fred was a precision type personality, fastidious to a fault. His apartment looked like it was set for the magazine Better Homes and Garden. If anyone touched an item in his apartment, he would remove it from the offender's hand, put it back in the exact location of its position previously. His biggest pet peeve in life was things out of place. Furthermore, he was always 10 minutes early to every appointment. He detested being late. It caused him enormous anxiety. Jamie, Fred's fiancée, was messy to a fault. She never remembered where she put her things. She would periodically try to organize her apartment and then forget her reasoning behind the plan. Water glasses would drift in the cupboard filled with plates, and cooking pans would end up in the drawers designated for mixing bowls. Almost every day was a ritual to find her keys. Fred tried helping her. First he gave her a key finder. Clap twice and the key ring would make a noise. This cut down on half the time for finding the keys, but didn't solve the rest of the problems that invaded every aspect of Jamie's life. She was always 30 minutes late everywhere. Her friends just knew that about her and accepted it. But now, after 6 months of being engaged, it was wearing on Fred's nerves. What could he do? He was desperately in love with Jamie. She was charming, captivating, and the most beautiful woman he had ever known, and she loved him and wanted to marry him. Could he live with her two tragic flaws, or would these irritating habits eventually drive them apart? They decided to marry without resolving their differences. At first, the marriage went well, but the problems resurfaced. They started to have loud disagreements. Accusations about unwillingness to change or compromise increased. They started professional counseling. Nothing positive resulted at first. Fred couldn't stand her habitual tardiness. He resented cleaning up after apartment after her. Finally, he moved out. Fortunately, they continued counseling. Because their desire to save the marriage was so strong, they began to see that compromise and change was necessary. With the help of a counselor, they developed a plan. Jamie agreed to set her clocks 1/2 hour ahead so she would arrive at appointments on time. Fred resolved to rearrange in the house periodically and to label shelves so items tended to return to their proper place. A climate of tolerance for each other's faults and gratitude for strengths was developed. Without the help of a gifted counselor, they would probably have divorced. Imagine how much better it would have been if they had resolved these issues before marriage. A person who marries with the intent of changing his or her spouse later is doomed at a minimum to pain and difficulty, and a maximum divorce. And then there's a journal. Because it just repeats the same summary, and I'm not gonna read it out loud. But if you have any unresolved differences or conflicts, plan for a resolution. Make sure you resolve those differences. Thank you.